Hi, my name is Miles, and welcome to my video series, A Second Look. The purpose of this series is to give DMs of very experienced players a way to present new characters, situations, encounters, player characters, creatures, and whatever to these players that they haven't experienced before. For instance, everyone knows what a Medusa is. It really doesn't matter whether they're playing a first level character, no matter how new that character is or they've never experienced a Medusa, the experienced player will always know that a Medusa is going to turn them into stone if they meet their gaze. So they'll obviously accidentally, no matter what, never meet the gaze of that Medusa. What I'm attempting to do is not change the trope of the Medusa, but simply give a new way to present a Medusa, for instance. So, with that said, let's get started. The first thing I think we should start with would be dwarves. Everyone knows what a dwarf is. A dwarf has been very popular in media over the last several years with Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Narnia, all sorts of different things. We've seen dwarves, and everyone can tell you how a dwarf is. They're short, stocky, really muscular, gruff. They live under the mountains. They're miners. They're strong with big, bulky weapons. Everyone really knows what a dwarf is going to be. They're really kind of not the prettiest characters. Not quite elven fairyland characters either. But rather than the normal dwarf that we're accustomed to, I'm going to present a new character, a new sort of creature that characters can encounter, called a hill dwarf. Rather than living underground, hill dwarves live generally on the surface in rocky, mountainous type areas. Think how Afghanistan is usually presented. Very rocky and craggy, big hills, not quite mountains, but really high surfaces. Hill dwarves, like their mountain dwarf cousins, have the same sort of physique. Short, squat, really muscular, barrel chest, big, huge shoulders, vast upper body strength, squat, powerful legs. But that's really where the resemblance would stop. Outside of that, they present themselves as barbarians. Think really savage berserker berserker savages. They will have big, crazy tattoos, fierce-looking tattoos all over themselves. They would have piercings on their face, tattoos and markings, burnings and rituals, burning and scarification rituals they've done all over their body to look as fierce and warrior-like as they possibly can. Like the regular dwarf, they'd have beards, but they're not going to simply keep to majestic-looking formal beards. They have all sorts of crazy beards, from the Jim the Anvil Neidhart, one kind of pointy beard coming down to a Fu Manchu, to whatever. Same with their hairstyles. Anything from bald to a mohawk to a top knot to a big, craggly, massive, messy rock of hair. Anyway, they will adorn themselves really in whatever is going to be appropriate for the weather. They would have furs, leathers, animal skins, wool from sheep was what they would use to make their clothes if they're going to sew or that sort of thing. That's what they make their cloths out of. To really nearly naked if it's warm enough. They will adorn themselves with a big copper type of jewelry or brass type of jewelry, armbands, wristbands, earrings, even nose rings, that sort of thing. They don't have the capacity to make iron or steel. They can't mine or have any real access to it. They can't make forges hot enough. So they use weaker types of metals. They would weave things into their beards. They'd have beads or small animal skulls or what have you. It would be very common for a married dwarf to have a ring in the back of his beard, and people understand they could lift up his beard and see if he was married or not because there'd be a ring sewn into his beard. Female hill dwarfs would look very similar. They're not going to have all the ferocious tattoos. They're not going to be quite so warlike and ferocious, but similar savage type appearance. There always seems to be some debate about whether female dwarves should have beards or not. I think I would fall into the category that female dwarves do not have beards. They are not circus sideshow freaks. No beards on the female hill dwarfs. Anyway, the hill dwarf would live, as I said, on the surface. Maybe if they find a cave, they would widen it out somewhat. But generally, they live on the surface. They would build huts. They would have a clan or a clan or a tribe of perhaps about 100 people or so. They wouldn't name the clan a clan name itself, but everyone in the clan would have the same family name, the Magaws, for instance. So the clan would be known as the Magaw, and when people spoke of that clan, it would be the Magaw clan, as in the Magaw tribe. If the clan got bigger than 100 people, small groups of the younger people would break off and leave, obviously with the support of that clan, and create their own clan. It would all be very friendly. The hill dwarves are led by a council of elders. It would be respected, both men and a few women. After that, the hill dwarves would be led on the next lower level down by a war chief who would take over the leadership of the clan in times of battle or war or on hunts or anything where an individual needs to make quick sort of choices and decisions. The hill dwarves operate the same way as their mountain dwarf cousins as far as giant kind and humanoids are concerned. They hate goblins. They hate orcs and hobgoblins, that sort of thing. But they really don't consider those sort of monsters to be their enemy or their nemesis. They're just enemies, and they won't tolerate them in their territory. Hill dwarves will go insane, drop everything in a berserker rage at the prospect of fighting much larger, more dangerous opponents. Trolls, hill giants, ogres, minotaurs, that sort of thing. The real scary and frightening enemies that they would have in their territory that they just would not accept. In battle, a hill dwarf would, like its mountain dwarf cousins, use big clunky weapons that would take advantage of their strength and their frame and their constitution. Big giant double-bladed battle axes, broadswords, knobby maces, spiked morning stars, that sort of thing. Hill dwarves are screaming maniacs, as I said earlier, berserkers. They will not stick to a real battle plan or formations and marches. They would throw themselves screamingly into battle. They're actually glory seekers, and rather than have a simple, efficient battle plan, they would rather have a big, dramatic kill. If they could use a battle axe to throw and hit a hill giant in the chest, cleaving his heart in two, that's what they're going to do. Hopefully, in an attempt to make a name for themselves later, when they were speaking about the combat, the hill dwarf who had done that would hope to be known perhaps as Magar the Heart Cleaver. The hill dwarves will frequently, if they know a battle is coming, they will pull out all the stops. They're going to have old armor and weapons that they've collected either from their ancestors or previous battles or spoils of war, and that's what they're going to pull out. Big helms with antlers and wings and horns or designs of skulls on them, really heavy iron armor, big, dramatic, frightening-looking weapons, anything they can pull out to make them look impressive. Hill giants would put a lot of stock in that, as you could probably see from the way I've described them. They will truly look at going into battle as something that they enjoy and something they bring a lot of honor in. I hope you're enjoying this video. I will have part 2 posted right after this. Thank you, and please look for the second part to my Hill Giants video.